Hello, my name is Levi, and this is the Wax Poetic Podcast. Welcome. Today we have a co-host, Becca, who is the first guest on the first episode. Say hi, Becca.
Whoop, whoop. Hey, it's Becca. I'm excited to be here.
And the guest today is Lindsay, and they're going to be talking about
Channel Orange by Frank Ocean.
when it came out. Were you already a fan, or was it new?
It was brand new. It came out in 2012, and I had heard of Odd Future, but I didn't really know the individual people. I don't know how it came into my world, but it was the summer after my sophomore year of college, and so I was still like very in with all sorts of new music things because I was fortunate to have friends that were just very on top of new releases. It showed up one day and it just totally blew my mind. I definitely didn't have a physical copy of the album, but I don't remember Spotify existing, so I'm not sure how I listened to it.
The tube.
iTunes. Oh my gosh, it was when iTunes was still
totally forgot about that
thing, and you paid music for money. Paid money for music.
Oh yeah, such a weird concept.
Go figure. Wow, completely forgot about that.
I know. I forgot. Yeah, my dad the other day, he wants the Chris Stapleton new album. He's like, gotta download that on the tunes. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, buys the whole album.
Doesn't it not exist anymore?
iTunes? What is it? He said tunes. Oh, Apple Music? He downloads.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's
I swear.
iTunes still exists, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. So I'm not crazy. Okay.
Let's get into talking about, like, is there a favorite song on here that really drew you in? What was the first song you heard?
I heard the whole album getting into it, but Pyramids is like the golden standard for just songs in general.
This album doesn't really start for me until Pyramids comes on. Like the first half of it I thought was all right, but when Pyramids kicks in the middle of the album, I was like, I am in for this.
Yeah, it just like peaks at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Thinking About You?
Well, I mean, they were all right songs before that. Like even Thinking About You. I enjoyed what I was hearing before that, but when Pyramid starts up and that beat comes up, it's like, yeah, I love that. Everything after Pyramids is just amazing to me.
I mean, it's a story album, so you've got your prologue, and we've got our rising action. Then just that climax at Pyramids is, I listened to this so many times just on loop.
I'd never heard of this. Well, I've heard of Frank Ocean, but I was familiar with them as Odd Future.
So was this your first listen?
Yes.
Oh
wow.
Yes. None of these songs were familiar to me. I'd never heard any of these songs before. This past week. Yeah.
Wow. What about his new album? You heard that, didn't you?
No. No, I didn't. I have not.
I will say I only just recently kind of got it. When it first came out, I was very not into it because of I don't know what the real word for it is, but I call it robot baby voice.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. He does that a lot in what's Solo? Is that his last album? Or am I making that up?
That's the main song from it.
No, Blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does that a lot in Blonde. I know what you're talking about. It's all techie.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just, from the time it came out until now, I was never in the right mood to listen to it. But it's a very different one from this.
I can see. I can appreciate that. Every album sounding different. You don't want to just keep remaking the same album over and over again.
Or you could.
Well, yeah, actually, a lot of bands have made entire careers over remaking the same album over and over. AC/DC released a new album like not too long ago, and I think the only thing that has changed in AC/DC's career is recording technology. Like nothing about them has ever
they've cycled
changed.
Through some members.
Well, yeah, I guess. Before Pyramids, the one song I did like was Super Rich Kids.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, Becca, had you ever heard of this? Like, was this new for you, or were you already familiar?
It's interesting, Lindsay. This shows how much I love you. So Frank Ocean is really actually hard for me to listen to because Frank Ocean reminds me of one like person. And so like I've spent the last like 2 years avoiding Frank Ocean. And so then I was like, you know what? I just got past it and I listened to the whole album for you. Felt a lot of feelings, but I think I came out a better person. So yeah, I knew Frank Ocean, but I knew Frank Ocean more of like blonde Frank Ocean instead of this album. But yeah, I've heard a lot of the songs from this album. So
Lindsay, does this album remind you of someone or a place in time?
A place in time that also encapsulates like a someone. So I feel you on that, Becca.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I lucked out that there were so many things going on for me when this came out that it all is wrapped up. So for me, it's the summer that it came out, because it came out, I want to say like, I don't know, sometime at the beginning of the year. So like I was out of my second year of college and I just remember playing Fallout New Vegas probably the entire summer listening to this album. But it ties in nicely because you get pyramids with it, and then I'm there. I'm in the Vegas Strip virtually. But yeah, it was a very weird summer for me because so in my second year of college, they crammed double the amount of people into our living situation. So in a space where there should have been 2 people, there were 4 people. I got bunk beds for the first time in my life, which was very exciting.
Oh,
I love bunk beds when I was little. Yes.
I always wanted one. I always told my mom that I wanted a bunk bed or a loft bed, and she would tell me by the time you turn 16, you're not going to want one anymore. And I still want one.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yes.
They're fun. Wait, were you on the bottom or the top?
So I was going to be on the top, but going into that school year, I broke my foot. And so I had to be on the bottom bunk.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever fling your head up and just bang your head on those bars? Because I did that all the time. I think that's why I have like short-term memory loss.
I never banged my head, but there was one time where I had some weird dream where I woke up and I like kangaroo kicked the top part of the bed and woke my roommate up.
It'd be frightening. Like the mattress lifted up?
Yeah, like full on, like kicked it up really hard. I don't know what the dream was about, but yeah, luckily never bunked my head.
Sounds like an intense dream. I had a bunk bed growing up when I was little, and I remember my brother dropping a knife on me. And yeah, he was sitting up
Elaborate.
top. Oh, well, he was sitting up top, and I was sitting at the bottom playing with like Star Wars toys or whatever. And he was playing with a knife, and he dropped it, and it stuck right into my leg and my knee, and it just kind of stuck out. And he hopped down, and I pulled it out, and he's like, "Don't tell Mom." And I never did.
Mom.
I never did, but I have this like weird poofy scar because of it now.
How old were you?
I was probably like 8.
What kind of knife was this? Like a kitchen knife? Like a
kitchen knife? No, knife? It was like a pocket knife. So it wasn't a big blade. It was my brother was like, 11 or so. This is around the time where it was fine for little kids to have pocket knives, I guess. I don't know.
Just left unattended to stab their siblings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. What was that thing with the hands? Why am I blanking on it? So like when I was a kid, we definitely carried around pocket knives because I remember that being a thing.
Yeah, it was from Alien where he was doing the hand thing. The robot was doing the hand thing.
Where you try to stab in between your fingers, but if you miss, you're going to stab your fingers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which you can do really well if you're a robot.
Not as a 14-year-old kid. You shouldn't be doing that.
No. That is not knife safety.
Speaking of, I guess getting back to the Super Rich Kids song, there's a line in there where he says, "Parents ain't around enough." So I feel like when I was listening to that song, I could feel that because I think my parents gave me pretty much a lot of freedom just to do random junk. I don't know. I can't say it was bad parenting, but they were just like, yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, go do what you want.
Kind of a free range kid.
Yeah. Were you like that too? Or did you?
Oh, not at all.
Oh, no.
Oh, really? You had strict parents?
Not really strict, but just I was the oldest kid, and I'm just kind of a stay-at-home sort of person, so they never really had to tell me not to go places. My brother was more like wanted to go everywhere and do everything, but yeah, I don't know. I never really got into trouble. Not that I was a super good kid, but that's what I like about super rich kids was it was also at a time where I was starting to meet people whose backgrounds were not growing up in the suburbs, and that some of them that was their life was being, the super rich kids who just had like all this money.
Yes. There's the other song, Sweet Life, where
Oh yeah.
he's talking about other people that they have. I remember when I was little, like when I'd go to a friend's house and they had stairs, I would be like amazed by it. It's like, wow, there's a second floor to this place. And it just seems so fancy to me.
I feel like that ties in with the bunk bed thing though, because I always thought
Yeah.
it was a 2-story house.
Yeah.
The coolest thing.
My sister and I were talking about this the other day because she has a house now and she has a fridge in the garage that's just devoted to like Coke and beers and like pop and everything. And like as a kid, we just craved that. We thought that was the coolest thing. Like they're all the rich
fridge.
Houses. Yeah. But they would have that just a fridge for drinks. What's up with that? Like they always had like just stocked up like sweet tea, whatever you wanted. It's like a store.
I totally
So now
remember.
she has it. Yeah. I'm so jelly of those.
Oh, stupid rich friends. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, we had one of those rich neighborhoods where it was already extremely fancy. And then there was a part in the back of it that was a gated community that backed up to a golf course. And they had a golf club within this neighborhood. So that's where we all took prom pictures.
Oh. They let you back there?
Because somebody who lived there was
with your
part
prom
of that
party?
group. Yes.
Score. You made it.
Yeah, so that song always made me think of that particular neighborhood and getting to hang out in, a fancy 2-story house with a pool.
Oh, or the ones where their basement's like a game theater room. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I never had friends with basements. Not in Texas.
Oh, you guys, yeah. Oh,
I'm familiar with the concept of basement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've never been in one.
It's crazy to me that there's not. I mean, I guess there's no tornadoes, so what would be the point? But it'd be an extra level. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not just go ahead and do it?
I can tell you why. It's because the ground in Texas is too hard in most places to dig deep enough to get a significant basement.
Good to know. I guess I'll never question it again.
The more you know.
Yeah, you don't want to dig into the earth in Texas. It's
like rock.
Not good.
Rock hard.
It's all limestone, actually. You get nothing but limestone.
All those Dead Sea creatures.
Oh no.
That's what limestone is.
I'm guessing you said Pyramids was like your favorite song of this album.
I think just because it's the first time I ever heard a song that was so epic. And especially just the album in general, because you can make it up till that point without realizing that the entire thing is a story. And then all of a sudden you've got this 8-9 minute, however long it is, song. And, in my, I guess, I wasn't a teenager anymore at that point. I was just fresh off of not being a teenager, but just completely mind blown. I'd never heard music like that before.
Yeah. Okay.
Because usually you got a couple that are good for singles, or maybe it'll be like a cheesy album, but just that it takes you on this entire journey. And so I always, it was like the soundtrack of my summer.
So I guess that was a good summer then, right?
It was actually, okay, the good parts were I got to play Fallout with my brother, but it was actually a really bummer summer because I had gotten broken up with like almost immediately at the start of the summer.
Oh.
And I alleviated those feelings by adopting a pet frog.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
At the end of the year, when people move out and they don't want stuff, they would just leave things out in front of the dumpster. And somebody had left a perfectly good fish tank with all the stuff in it. So I took it because I figured I would use it at some point.
So it didn't have the frog in it.
It did not have the frog in it.
Oh.
I have no idea. I think that whoever had it had a lizard, and they definitely weren't supposed to. But they got rid of it. So I already had all the stuff set up. And one day I just rolled up into a PetSmart and adopted a frog.
I didn't know you could do that. Oh, yeah, you can. That's in the aquarium section. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So he was not a totally aquatic one. He's or you know what? Side note, As far as I know, he's still alive out there somewhere.
Oh.
What do you mean out there somewhere?
I don't
Like-
know where he is.
Oh, he escaped.
My best guess is that he raptured or found a portal.
Frogs can live a long time. Frogs can jump into some mud and encase themselves in mud and kind of hibernate for years and years and years. And then you can find some mud, break them open, and a frog will hop out like it was nothing. Like he wasn't
What do
there.
you mean years and years and years? Like we're talking like 20 years? A
20,
20-year-old
30
frog?
years. Yeah, frogs can just...
Stop it.
Yes, their metabolism slows down and they just kind of go to sleep, I guess.
Like a zombie? Like they just kind of...
Oh, no.
zombie.
It's
No,
more
not-
like
A
it's like
vampire.
cryogenic freezing, but in mud.
Yeah. They're still soaking in nutrients from the mud and stuff. I assume that's
Oh.
how it's working. But their metabolism just slows down to the point where they're just existing, but not really living. It sounds awful.
What was your frog's name?
Yes.
Simon Peter RoboCop.
Wow,
Nice.
that's a mouthful.
Yeah, he was just this tiny little guy, a fire-bellied toad. They can live up to 7 years, so that's why we're still in the zone of he might still be out there somewhere. Just one day, he was not in his tank anymore, and I have no idea. I searched my entire apartment, like everywhere, left out bowls of water for months in case he showed up. And then when I moved out of that apartment, I fully expected to, find his little frog corpse somewhere, and I didn't. And I've moved several times since, so... Truly, my theory is that he found a portal to another dimension.
That's funny because I had like 8 hamsters growing up, and so many hamsters, and they would just disappear. So in my
What?
old childhood home, there's got to be
Aren't
just,
they in a
like,
cage or something?
yeah, but like I'd feel bad and maybe like leave the cage open, like, or like the ball they
no.
roll around in. One time it just like the lid popped off, and I'm like, where'd the hamster go? And so like that house just has to be full of hamsters. I feel like living in the walls.
That's a thing. So I also had a hamster. I kind of snowballed and ended up getting several pets to deal with this
The loss,
series of
okay.
breakups. So it started out with the frog that I got this summer, and to the soundtrack of Channel Orange, I made so you have to feed this particular kind of frog crickets. Would not recommend. Crickets are disgusting.
They smell. They smell weird.
Yes.
You would think crickets
They
would
smell really bad.
But crickets have a weird, crazy smell to them.
Do they really?
Yeah, they just I don't know
why
what
they-
it is. It's just
Weird,
gross.
crazy smell to them.
And at the time, I was a college kid. I didn't have all sorts of bonus money to spend on the fancy cricket keepers. And so I made my own out of recycled lunch meat holders. And I made a multi-level thing that was connected with toilet paper tubes.
Oh, wow. Nice.
It was very disturbing because it was just like hot glued together. It's my cricket band.
Now I just want to go to PetSmart and be like, "Can I smell your guys' crickets?"
Ugh,
smell
no, it's going to be a
really
smell you'll
awful.
never forget. I had a girlfriend that had a chameleon, and she would have to buy like crickets for it, and they just smelled so bad. It's a smell I'm never going to forget.
They're really loud too. I mean, I guess that's common, but they were tiny and still just so noisy. So I had no qualms about sending them to get eaten.
So you would just have crickets in your apartment for a little bit, like a week, and then you would feed it every day? Like, how does that go?
You had to feed him every couple of days. And eventually I got smart and I would feed him in a separate tank because otherwise the crickets would figure out places to hide.
Oh.
Or you could have like a separate little container for the crickets to live in, because you're basically raising crickets by then.
Yeah, I never
stupid.
reached the point of raising
Yeah.
crickets. I would just go, you'd have to re-up them. And they'd always come on like in a plastic bag, like the way that they sell fish, but on cardboard. And they had their own thing. Eventually I got them their own little container, and then had separate from that another thing that was just the feeding one, so that I could make sure that Simon Peter was actually eating. And I'm pretty sure that that's how he got out, is at some point I must have like not paid attention good enough putting him back. He's out there somewhere.
Living it up.
Exciting.
Yeah, then I ended up getting like a bunch of other pets. I got a beta fish and then also a hamster. So for a while I had 3 magical pet friends, and the hamster would also get out often.
Didn't that damn fucking wheel, sorry, just brings me back. I was in the middle of the night, I heard like, and I would just move the cage in the bathroom and I could still hear it.
Oh, yeah.
So loud.
No,
yeah,
because...
I know. Well, they're night animals. What is that called, though?
So they're not nocturnal. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but they're diurnal.
Really?
Which is they're crepuscular. There we go. It means that they're awake at dusk and dawn are their primary hours.
Good to know.
But if they get confused about light, then they will just middle of the night.
Yeah, they're just annoying. They're just like little rats, aren't they?
Rude.
Pretty much.
Listen, I have a bird that screams all the time, so I just can't stand little critters right now.
Do birds not eat live ant? Do they eat crickets or anything? Or is it all just seeds and stuff?
It seeds, fresh fruit, and veggies. And he eats anything I eat. I don't give him meat. I mean, I think they said that they can have eggs and stuff for protein. But, like, if I eat spaghetti, he eats spaghetti. If I eat soup, he eats soup.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird life. But,
Mm-hmm.
no, they don't eat. Not that I know of. I'll kick him out of the house if he eats meat. This is a vegetarian household. Even Ponch, he just nibbles on kale all day.
Oh, no. Okay.
No meat for him.
Getting back to the album. I think a lot of this album seems to be about like a first love, I suppose.
That is entirely correct.
Let's see. I think Thinking About You was that. There was a couple of them. I did put a note on each one.
Pilot Jones is another one.
Yes. It's a lot about first love
Forrest
and longing.
Gump.
Forrest Gump as well.
That
Yes.
one hurts my heart.
Forrest Gump, yes.
Yeah. So hard. I didn't know John Mayer was on this album.
Wait, where? What?
He plays the guitar in Pyramids and also in
White.
Oh, huh.
Old JM. He was my favorite.
He's not
Is
singing
he?
anywhere, but he's there. He's in there.
What an interesting choice.
I wasn't familiar with everybody on here. I know Andre 2000, 3000?
3000. That is
3000. Andre
one of my
3000 was in
absolute
there.
favorite parts of the entire album is those Andre 3000 on Pink. Oh,
That song, I wasn't sure what to make of it. I was like, is this song just about Dragon Ball Z? Because he mentions Majin Buu. He's talking about his sensei and they were just fighting. But I was like, there's got to be something more to this.
there are Dragon Ball Z references, but it is not about Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm. But I did love the bass line either way. That was just kind of a similar bass line, like showed up in a couple of songs. Just like, boom, boom, boom. Just like a pretty laid back, but
just
I
kind
love
of
that.
powering forward.
Yes, just getting through it, getting through the hurt.
Oh, yes, that's exactly the longing and yearning, I think, is another. I'm going to be listening to this frequently.
Does anyone know who that woman is? She like narrates. She's in some songs in this album and also Blonde. Is it his mom?
Oh, the woman talking about getting a hot link?
Yeah, because
Yes.
she also
Okay.
talks, in Blonde as well.
That is, I found out it is his aunt.
What?
She was
Oh.
talking and he just recorded her, and yeah, that's who that is.
Okay, because there's stuff like that in Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City
Mhm.
as well, where I was never quite certain if it was really taken from voicemails or if it was planned.
But I think this whole album is actually kind of structured because it's called Channel Orange. And the first song starts off with Starting. And it's got the street, the PlayStation sound and the Street Fighter music that comes on.
Is?
Yeah, it's the PlayStation startup sound. And then Street Fighter starts up. And then that's when Thinking About You starts. And actually, I know Street Fighter is the name of the first song on his previous album. So I think that was just like a throwback to the Street Fighter sound at the beginning of this album. But I think a lot of the songs are just like him channel surfing. So there was that one part
Yes.
where, like Fertilizer, I think it's really short, but I think it's like a commercial for fertilizer or something. And when the ant comes in, not just money. There's a couple of moments throughout through the album that seems like it should have been like commercials, but each song is a channel, I suppose. That's what's going on there.
Interesting. I like that. Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, because there is a part where it sounds like he's doing a radio dial.
Yeah,
you get some
like,
static and
That's so cool. And also like the Pentatonix, which I used to be obsessed with. They took Thinking About You.
no.
And you know where it's like listen to this. This made my 6-year-old heart so happy because it ties together. But they're like the when a tornado flew around the room, part. They use that because they do this whole Wizard of Oz music video where they do. Come on, Lindsay.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll give this a chance.
It's the whole storyline of Wizard of Oz. They use all these different songs, but they start out with like Thinking About You. I think it's one of the first songs they use.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. I listened to it on repeat. It's like a 6-minute song or something that they put all together. Some Taylor Swift's in there too, I think. It's amazing. Check it out.
I'll check it out and then I can pass my judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the videos. I guess I should have done that.
I didn't realize there were videos.
Yeah, they have great videos. I love the Pentatonix.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean Pentatonix, but
Oh.
Well, Lindsay, is there a line anywhere in this album that really hits you close to home?
That would have to be Too Many Bowls of That Green, No Lucky Charms.
Was that Super Rich Kids? Or
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Like, so what's that about? Like,
that one, I mean, in the actual song, I think, and for me too, I think it just speaks to kind of wanting to go back to this innocence, and you're hanging out with your friends and you're like, I just want to eat Lucky Charms and watch cartoons. Why are we trying to get drunk all the time or go partying? Let's just hang out. Where are the Lucky Charms?
if you had to go back, yeah, that's where I would be. I get you.
I guess that's one that I find it funny too. It just makes me giggle every time because it's so relatable. And to hear Lucky Charms in a song, how fun.
Not my favorite cereal, but
No, not by any means. Like, they're gross.
They're very gross. I don't know if didn't they have a whole like a marshmallow one where
There was just marshmallows?
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
all marshmallow Lucky Charms, I think, right? It was Lucky Charms, wasn't it?
They did that with many cereals.
Well, that was good. I loved the texture of the marshmallow. Like when you would bite down on it. Oh, it did something to me.
They were slimy, but they were really crunchy.
Yeah.
So it weird.
Was perfect. I really like
that.
Lucky Charms. I don't know why I don't let cereal be in my house so quick. It's like, oh, I'm on my 4th bowl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, just feels like nothing. It feels just like you're crunching on ice or something. It's not filling. And it's a big old bowl of sugar.
Well,
bad.
The song Lost is about drug smuggling, kind of. That's actually my favorite song on this album. But I guess it's about basically just getting caught up in something that you know is bad for you. And so I feel you with your marshmallows. I get you. Lindsay, have you ever been like, this is dumb, but here I am?
Oh, often. That was
often? Okay.
Yeah, that's part of why just that particular line hit so much, or just Lost, especially because just going from being pretty sheltered in the suburbs to then going to college, which honestly was still pretty sheltered because it was private liberal arts, but to just all of a sudden have all of this freedom to pretty much do whatever I wanted. And yes, just finding myself at weird parties or just up too late with people who I'm like, why am I with you right now? It's not a good situation.
So do you feel like I always have a question with stuff like this. Kids that kind of grew up in a more structured home, like, do you feel like when you had the freedom, you like went wild? Or do you feel like you were still like kind of responsible in a way?
I managed to do both because somehow it was a work hard, play hard situation. And so I was around a lot of people who were somehow very dedicated to our studies, but also just partied so much because we could on our campus, because you didn't have to leave to do that.
Mm.
And so there were definitely times where I wilded out just because that was something that was so hard to do when I was actually a teenager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always been curious about that because I had so much freedom and I didn't really use it. I didn't go wild, and I think it was because I had so much freedom. So I feel like usually people go against their parents.
I think I was the same way. Like I was still a good kid, even though like I could stay out all night. But like my staying out all night wasn't being crazy. It was just because I was hanging out with friends and just got late and passed out and whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just running around the woods, doing weird stuff with friends. Nothing illegal either. It was just us frolicking in the woods, giggling.
Yes, never anything illegal.
No. Yeah, that was totally me too. It's like I was
not
still
a
good
single
kid,
time.
Just like,
illegal? I don't know her.
Still did all my homework.
Yeah.
I got good grades.
No.
I never had my parents
Lindsay?
do my homework, but I would have points as a kid where my procrastination would reach such astounding levels that it would be the night before some project to do that requires like a trifold with all of these things, and they just wanted me to go to bed and would essentially take the whole thing over.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember being like in pajamas at like 9 p.m. in Walmart, like getting stuff. And I'm like, hurry, I'm so tired. Yes. Just crying. I just remember always crying.
Yeah, just crying as we're gluing these things to make it double and triple matted, making it pop up.
You were crying while your mom was doing all the work.
Probably.
Yes.
Okay.
My dad was always bitching at her, like, why are you doing your homework? She's never going to succeed. I'm like, Dad, please just let her do it. But look at me now. I'm thriving.
There you go. So, Lindsay, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Cedar Park, which is just like a central Texas. As things grow, it's just going to kind of turn into like an Austin suburb as the strip malls just all meet up together.
Yeah, it's pretty much North Austin right now. So
basically, yeah.
I didn't know you grew up in Cedar Park.
Yep.
It's interesting. I work up there sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
So did you come to Austin a lot?
Yeah, so that was the big thing, was my family would come there on the weekends for trips, and that was like the coolest thing ever to do as a teenager, is if one of your friends was allowed to drive on the highway and you could go to Austin.
That would be cool. That would be cool to grow up near all like the art and music, Yeah,
because there's like the Bullock Museum and the Blanton Art Museum and just UT campus and the drag. Zilker Park. Yeah, so it was always just kind of this mystical, cool.
Well, probably
city.
like if you had a favorite artist, you would always be able to see their concert because they were, what I'm saying? Like mine were like states away. So I never saw like a real concert until I think I came out here, unless you count my parents' gigs in a bar. But
hey, that's real.
That's real.
Your dad's gonna say that was a real show. I got paid. It's a real show. I do want to talk about the song "The Bad Religion."
Yeah,
I love that first line. Taxi driver, be my shrink for the hour, because I like bars, and I always feel like it's late in the evening, and you want to just share everything about yourself. Do you ever get like that, where you're just, here's everything about me?
I'm not really a bar person, just because there's so many people.
Even outside of a bar.
But yeah, outside of that, I think my friends and I just kind of take turns doing that to each other, just stuff dumping and playing junior therapist.
Oh, yeah, every couple of months you just kind of, this is what's going on with me.
You just gotta unload.
And actually, Frank Ocean's like Tumblr is just, I don't know if you've ever looked at that, but he's got a lot of stuff on there. He's just, I don't want to say it's oversharing, but he's giving you a lot of insight into
I did not know he had
about him.
A Tumblr. Yeah, I think that's the other reason that this album ended up being kind of a big deal, was that he was very explicit about that a lot of these songs were about being in love with a man and as his first love. And he wasn't the first, but definitely like one of the first people in kind of like the hip hop rap scene to come out and just to speak about it so openly and to be accepted about it. And it was just really wild to see that, because usually people are getting degraded for that. And then to have a whole album with songs like Forrest Gump.
With the Forrest Gump and I guess Bad Religion, I know there's a Tumblr that's kind of about that, I guess. He's basically saying, oh, I know they feel the same way about me, but they're in a relationship with someone who doesn't really know about this part of his life. So, and I guess everybody has kind of like a shell that they have around them that most of the world sees, that, you know, only your close friends get around actually seeing beneath. I said that weird. But,
no, but yeah,
beautifully.
There's a part that you're outwardly presenting, and some of that is intentional. There's a very intentional presentation of the self, but some of it is not. And even then there's those little pieces that you freeze them. That's what I think of it as, like either freezing it or just locking it up in a safe.
Yeah.
Because you've got that line in Bad Religion that's unrequited love. To me, it's nothing but a one-man cult.
I'm all about this.
Obsessed.
Yes, I'm all about this love. I know that whatever's going on with them is not compatible with my life, but man, I'm right.
No one needs to know about that.
I feel like most of my love has always been unrequited. so I don't know. I get you, Frank Ocean. We're good. But yeah, actually, a lot of these songs are kind of about that unrequited love and the first love.
That's why it was a perfect album to listen to, getting as a breakup album. But it's also it's not too much of a bummer because it's such an adventure story.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay, what's on your replay right now? What are you listening to?
I, for some reason, today could not stop listening to early Fall Out Boy albums.
Oh.
So strong recommend for From Under the Cork Tree if you were a teenager in the mid 2000s and want to relive all of your angst. But I've also been very into like funk kind of stuff. So like Curtis Mayfield and The Emotions. I guess that's kind of like funk R&B. Marvin Gaye.
Oh, Marvin.
Yeah.
He gets you in the mood, I'll tell you what.
I also just listened to Beyonce's Lemonade for the first time ever.
Really? What'd you think?
It's really good. I'd never heard it before because at first it was released exclusively as, I think, probably on Tidal. And then there was that Kimmy Schmidt episode where Titus does, not a cover, but does like a version of her songs. They have a musical episode. So I was familiar with the songs because of that. And it was very interesting to hear the real versions.
Great. I love that album. Makes me feel like I was cheated on.
It makes you feel like you were cheated on?
Well, that's what it's all about. And she just like brings you into it, especially like the visual album is really great too. Like watching it, you just feel like you're a part of it, like you're living it. So you're like angry, you're like beating up cars, and then you're like
that
sad.
Baseball
bat.
Like,
yeah, in the yellow dress. So
yeah,
cool.
You got to get dressed up if you're gonna break stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Got to look good doing it.
What about if you egg a house? Do you like need to get dressed up for that?
You might as well.
You might as well.
I mean, if you get caught and you go to jail and you get a mugshot, you might as well look good in that mugshot.
Can you go to? Yeah, you could definitely go to jail for that. They might give you a warning, but would you really just like spend a night in jail and have over egging someone's house? I'm just asking for a friend.
Not
asking for any reason.
But you know, I wouldn't recommend.
I know.
It's a waste of eggs, if nothing else.
Well, no, that's the thing is like I get nervous about doing that stuff up. But as a kid, toilet papering things was fun. And so my cousin and I, we were too wussies to do it. So we just toilet papered our own house. And then we had to clean it up anyways.
Play it safe.
But I want to feel that feeling of just throwing toilet paper rolls. But it's so mean because then that person has to clean it up. That's all I can think about.
I don't think you can throw toilet paper rolls during a pandemic where people are
you can't do
hoarding
that.
toilet
That's
paper,
so
though,
true.
you know?
Oh, yeah. They're going to be like, thanks.
I got like 3 rolls left. Like I'm gonna
Go out there and like re-roll them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After you do it. Getting my TP back.
That would have been a great thing for Halloween. Just please TP my house.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I'll
smart.
take
Maybe
the trick. Well, Lindsay, can you sing your favorite line from this album?
Oh gosh, let me think. Yeah, I guess it was still just that too many bowls of that green. No lucky charms.
Nice.
Classic.
The way he says it is so good.
I love it. Me too. Well, I think I'm good. Becca, do you have any questions?
I asked them all. I know Lindsay more and more, and I feel so happy.
Yes.
I'm glad that you sacrificed your heart to listen to this album for me.
Only for you. I'd do it for no one else.
Thanks, boo.
Not even my mom. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Only if it would be in trade to write a
for
new
my
assignment for
homework.
you.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Well, now I'm going to have your mom on here.
Should not do work
write all your
assignments.
cover letters. Yeah, I could ask her. See when she's free.
Mm.
I'll let you
Find
guys
out.
know.
Find out what her rates are. Okay.
Yeah. Put my mom's info in the description of this episode.
Put her LinkedIn on there.
Yeah.
Are you failing college?
Hire me. I'll write everything for you.
Well, thank you, Lindsay, for coming on and talking about this album. There's definitely a couple of songs on here that I love that I'm gonna throw in my own playlists for things, especially Lost and what is it, Monks? We didn't even talk about Monks.
Oh, we
But-
didn't talk about that one. We didn't talk about White.
There's some good stuff on here, even if we didn't talk about it. All right. Well, thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Becca.
Thanks, guys.
And y'all have a good night.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
All right. Bye. So please check us out every other Monday and follow along on Facebook at Wax Poetic Podcast and also on Instagram at Wax Poetic Podcast and of course on Twitter at Wax Poetic Pod.
I used to have my mom do my homework. How funny is that?
What?
Whoa.
How does that work?
Pretty big deal. Until about first semester of college, she stopped.
What?
Was she like, I don't know algebra. You're on your own on this one.
Becky from Full House?
No, okay, guys, this is what's funny. So I had to do a paper in English comp about the college library. And instead of writing it myself, I took my mom on FaceTime and took her through the library so that she could write the paper. How crazy is that?
Okay, walk me through this though. So you get an assignment and then what, you just call your mom and tell her that she's going to do it for you?
No, it's okay. It was mostly writing, like English and stuff like that she would do because I still have very low confidence in my writing, like even texting, like I'm like, where does a comma go? So like she just knew it was there and it would end up like we would start doing it together and then I just slowly fade away.
I'm gonna go get a sandwich and she's like,
yeah,
okay,
I'll
just
be
keep
back,
going.
Mom.
All right.
3 hours later.
Oh my
Your
gosh.
paper's done. But it ended like after first semester because she was like, you got to do it. You're on your own. So I've written everything else by myself.
All
But
right.
I paid her, okay? I paid her money.
Okay.
$20 a paper. She's great.
This is
If you guys want to
fascinating.
hire her, let me know. Send over her email.
How is she with math?
Oh yes. What's her best subject? I don't know.
I would say it's English and my dad's was history. I would kind of get my dad to do a little bit of my homework. Not in college. Not in college. oh no, I'm gonna get like my degree taken away or something.
Just retroactively rescinded.
But yeah, I that's what happens when you have the like really small town education. You just like I would pay my teachers with like food and stuff. I think I've said this before, so it wasn't the greatest. So get your parents to do your homework and pay your
I
teachers.
guess,
Yeah.
But she'll charge you. She doesn't do anything cheap. Yeah, she might. She loves to make an extra $10. I swear. My mom's the coolest lady, but I swear she'll do anything. Like if she's like one of those people that's like, oh, eat this jalapeno, like 4 jalapenos for like $10. My mom's gonna be like, that's $10. I'll eat the jalapeno. Like, right now she'd do it.
Right.
But great.